Today in this video, we're going to check out the LG C2. We're going to unbox it, set it up, and then we're going to speak about some of the new features that you might have missed when looking at the LG C2. I'm also going to give a little first impressions review of this TV, kind of what I think of it so far, before I do my real review for this TV. As a reminder, the product link for the LG C2 will be in the description below. If you use that website to order anything at all, it will help out the channel. Thank you guys so much. Alright, so right off the bat, when you're carrying this TV into your room to set up, you'll notice, wow, this thing is light. Why is this box so light? Is there even a TV in here? And unboxing that, finding out the stand is so much lighter was just a breath of fresh air. And if we're being honest, I wasn't really a huge fan of the old stand in the first place. Mainly because I'm somebody who uses a soundbar, and using a soundbar in front of this TV would block the TV's view. Well, now all that has changed, because enter the 2022 LG C2 stand, and yeah, things have definitely improved. Not only does the stand look really good with the TV, but there's enough clearance between the TV and the stand where you can actually put a soundbar and it won't block the TV's view. So a big round of applause for LG for doing this. Is something that a lot of users have commented on throughout the years. Now the TV design itself is also a bit different. The bezel seems a little bit smaller from last year, and the back is totally different looking. So here's the back of the C1, and now here is the back of the C2. Quite a difference, and I am really happy with this improvement. They also included some cable clips within the box as well, so your cable routing will be a lot better with the C2 than it was on the C1. So overall, some really cool design changes for the LG C2. So that might be a reason why people want to buy this over the C1 if they're close in price. Alright, so right now I'm just going to walk you through the setup process really fast, and then we're going to get into a lot of the functionality changes, what goes into this TV, and why I think this TV is better than the C1 in terms of the functionality and design changes. Setting up the TV is pretty straightforward. Honestly, the walkthrough of this is mostly self-explanatory, so I won't go into too much depth about it. So from there, the very first thing you want to do is to make sure you go into your OLED care menu, and then deep inside of that is going to be the power saving option that is sort of hidden away. There is power saving on by default. You have to turn it off if you want power saving off, otherwise the picture will adjust itself. Also, in some modes, the dynamic tone mapping will be on by default. You either love this setting or you hate this setting. It really is going to just depend on what you're watching, to be honest with you, whether or not it's good or not. For the most part, the most accurate mode is going to be it off, and also the best highlights are sometimes going to be with it off as well. So experiment with that a little bit. So right now what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to cut to a clip of me talking to the TV and explaining one of the cooler functionality changes for the 2022 LG C2 OLED. And briefly you will hear my camera audio, and then I'll come back in with my thoughts. Hi LG, turn on the TV. Hi LG, go to home. Hi LG, search Tech with KG on YouTube. Play LG C2 OLED versus Samsung QN90B. So whether you love or hate a voice assistant, I think this one is pretty good. It's integrated within your TV. It works when your TV is off. Having the ability to just turn off your TV without needing the remote next to you is kind of handy. I've done it a couple of times now while testing this TV, and I think that the functionality is there, and it is something that a lot of people might enjoy. I also love the ability that I am able to tell the TV which picture mode to change to or which input to change to without needing the remote in my hand. I think that's pretty cool. So I would say I'm not one of the target audience users for the voice assistant. I honestly don't use voice assistants all that much, but I would see myself using this one for sure. I know there's a lot more people out there that are smart home integrated that are absolutely gonna love this feature. Alright, now let's go through some of the game mode changes, and then I'll talk about my overall first impressions of the LG C2. Alright, so now let's go through some of the game mode changes for this year. This year, we have a little bit of a different game optimizer menu. There is a new selection for dark room mode on the main menu as well, as a multi-view selection, which is brand new for 2022. Another new change is going to be within the Game Optimizer submenu. So when you go to the Game Optimizer submenu, you will see that there is a brand new tab called Picture Mode. This is going to allow you to change the black and white stabilizer just like last year, but if you scroll down a little bit more, you can now adjust the contrast, the black level, sharpness, and color depth, as well as the wide aspect ratio. Then you have advanced picture settings. So everything in this submenu here on this tab will get saved to the picture mode that you're working with for the game genre selection. However, everything that you set for the advanced picture mode settings will not carry over to different Game Optimizer sub modes. So if you have FPS mode set to your white balance of warm 50 and then you have the other one to cool 50, it won't work like that. The actual color temperature won't transfer over, as well as all the other things found in the advanced picture settings menu, which is a disappointment because on the Samsung game bar that they made improvements to, you are able to carry over all of your expert settings across different game modes. So instead of having that ability on here, you're only able to control the color depth, the sharpness, the black level, and the contrast, in addition to the black stabilizer and white stabilizer. In my opinion, this is definitely lacking in comparison to the Samsung game bar, and I was a little disappointed by that. That being said, it is an improvement over last year's Game Optimizer, so I will give them that. One thing I want to address is there's a lot of questions about what kind of panel this is, and if it's one of those new EX panels. And from the looks of it, when I did the close-up, it does look like it appears to be one of these EX panels. And shout out to Keep It Classy Tech for helping out with this and trying to help me figure out if this is an EX panel. It appears that he has the EX panel as well. Whether or not you'll get the EX panel is kind of just one of those situations where it could be a panel lottery. Maybe if you buy down the line, you're more likely to get an EX panel. I'm not really sure. There's still a lot to be uncovered with the whole panel situation, and I'm sure we'll find out more in the next couple of months. Alright, so let's talk about my first impressions of this TV. Overall, it's a great TV. There's no doubt about it. It's a beautiful TV. So here is the issue that I have with the C2 so far. And remember, these are just my first impressions and there's nothing definitive here. I still have to dig into this TV more before I give the actual review. But based on my first impressions, what I'm seeing, comparing demos and looking back and forth from my C1 to my C2, I'm not seeing a huge improvement here. So the brightness increase from the C1 to the C2, it's there, but it's very hard to notice unless you really kind of look at it back and forth and say, hey, what changed here? I noticed some highlights were a little bit brighter on the C2, nothing gigantic. A lot of this can be attributed to the processing changes or the actual different panel itself. But jumping from a C1 to a C2, you're not going to see a dramatic change. In fact, you might not even notice a change at all. It honestly sort of feels like the same TV when I'm jumping back and forth with my eyes, with the exception of some highlights and also some brighter scenes will appear a little bit brighter. And I have to stress, it is a little bit. It's not a huge jump. It's not a huge change. And I just want to be honest with you guys that if you're buying your first OLED and you just care about the picture quality aspect of things, save your money and get a C1. Unless you want the extra improvements that go along with the C2, like the design changes and the new functionality changes that I spoke about that I'm really high on, that I really like. If you're in for those changes and you couple that in with it being the newest model, so you're going to have one more year of support rather than buying last year's model, then yeah, maybe the C2 is going to be a good pickup for you. But if you're just caring about picture quality, am I getting the best picture quality possible, and you want to save money while doing it, the C1 and the C2, they're pretty close. I'd say they're so close that unless you really love the new features of the C2, you're probably better off just saving some money and grabbing the C1. Real talk. I just think that it is definitely not a huge improvement over the C1, and I saw more of an increase from the C10 to the C1 than I did from the C1 to the C2. Hope that helps you out. As a reminder, I will be doing a full LG C2 OLED review in the near future, But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Is this enough changes to make you want to make that jump? I would love to hear your opinion on this. Those of you that want to see the LG C2 in action, I actually put it side by side next to the 2022 Samsung Neo QLED QN90B. So go check that out. That said, I will also be doing a comparison with the LG C1, so make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications if you don't want to miss that. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.